Hey guys, how's it going? It's Eric Zorn from ICM 505, Spring 2017 semester again. Today I will be covering a unique new badge that I've helped create with Professor Gruen. This badge is called the GoogleTools badge. I ended up calling it the Google API page, but you can name it the Google Tool. And as you can see here, I added it to my lesson dropdown underneath my website at the bottom, which is this page, and at the top it literally is just a quick jumbotron, and the whole page is supposed to act as like a quick fake ad for Quinnipiac University. This jumbotron was just a simple bootstrap add-on that you can find through the bootstrap components and so on, and I found this picture on Google. So anyways, to dive deep into it, the three main tools that you can see that are making this page look simple but interesting are, as you can see here, a drop down of a menu using Google Translate, and it will take the text on your page and literally translate it into any language pretty much. So that's Japanese as an example, and you can change back to the original with a simple click. Then, as you can see here, a less than desirable font for reading. The reason it's so drastic is because this is an example of what you can do using Google Fonts, which here I will dive more into in the next video or the video after that within this badge. Allows you to pretty much find tons of different fonts that are free through Google and embed them into your web pages with a simple a line of code or two to embed. And then at the bottom, now this is where it becomes a little unique. This is, as you can see here, a simple Google map. Now this Google map appears, just as it would on any page, but in the past we have been used to using iframes, and iframes are a unique way of pretty much just embedding some code and making it look nice. But this is actually fully coding the map within your page, creating a canvas and using some simple jQuery, and none of that stuff you have to really code. It's pretty much just copying and pasting, so don't fear it. And let's jump in. Okay, so in order to start, we will start with the Google Translate add-on. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to navigate to this link, which is here that Professor Gruen has sent me. And it's on w3schools/how-to/default. And on the left, you can see tons of different cool things you can add to websites that W3 Schools supplies like tutorials to. You're going to want to scroll to the bottom, and then you're going to want to find Google Translate, which is the second out of the three Google. Now, what you can do is if you scroll down, you can see all the different reference source code. But all I did is I clicked Try It Yourself, and within this, you can see how it works. So pretty much all this is saying is you create a div, which has the Google Translate element, which is just the drop-down menu. And then with their own script that they supplied you through W3 Schools, you literally just put that into the page, which I'll show you. And then you include another script, which is using Google's JavaScript from their website. So none of this stuff you have to physically code yourself. You're going to want to open up MAMP, and you're going to want to open up your website pages. And before I started anything, in my nav bar, just added at the bottom of my optional badges, I just created a link to the page. I would call it Google Tools. I already called it Google API, so I apologize. And I'll just name it to the Google Tools badge. So once that's done, it will appear in your nav bar, and you're going to want to take your template like you've been doing for every other site, and you're going to want to just save as and call it google-tools.php. So once that you have this page with the template, you're going to want to delete everything on the page, including your header. You're going to want to keep your nav include, and it's up to you if your footer works or if it's halfway up the page like some people had a problem with. I just deleted my footer for this page. So once you have a clean slate pretty much where it is just the container and the nav, you're going to want to name your body ID like you've been doing in the past from the web server badge for an active class. You're going to want to name it to Google. So this way, at the end of your JavaScript PHP, all I did was I created a new line. I said call the ID Google within the lessons. So now when I click my Google API page, it makes it active. Alright, so the physical part now of setup is really over. In order to get the Google Translate, all you're going to want to do is pretty much create a Jumbotron. Before you do any of this, I'm sorry, I apologize. You're going to want to create a Jumbotron. And then within that Jumbotron, which this is literally copy and pasting from Bootstrap. So I will give you an example. Not bootstrap.com, it's getbootstrap.com. You're going to want to click Components. You're going to want to scroll down to Jumbotron. And then you can select whichever Jumbotron you want. I just did this one because this way there was nothing in it, no buttons or anything. And I literally just, as you can see here, within the Jumbotron, included Welcome to Quinnipiac as an H1, and then I included an image and made sure it was rounded through a Bootstrap class. You can stylize that however you'd like, or whatever size. So getting into the Google Translate, this is, I commented it and said this is the Google Translate button. So all I did was within that W3 Schools page, which I think I just closed. Here it is. So within that W3 Schools page, under Try Yourself for Google Translate, you're going to literally want to copy the div ID, all this, and you're going to want to paste it into your code, which I have here. Then you're going to literally want to copy and paste the script, and you're going to literally paste that, and that's what's there. And last but not least, you're going to want to copy and paste the second script, which is right here. And when you refresh your page on your local host, you should see this. Now this will not do anything unless it senses there is text on the page. And that's really important. So what I did here, before stylizing this with a font or anything, I just went to quinnipiac.com or quinnipiac.edu and Wikipedia, and I just literally copied and pasted lines that they had advertising information about the school, and I made them into a bunch of different paragraph tags, as you can see here. And now what should happen is when you click the button, for instance, it will translate it into pretty much any language you want. And now that's the first part of the Google Translate, or the first part of the Google Tools badge. It's a great way to add user-friendly environments to a website, because not everyone might speak English or whatever language you're coding in, and it allows people to use Google to get the best translation possible of what the web page is saying. So next, we are going to jump into Google Maps, which is a little bit more difficult, but it's a really cool thing, and you can completely customize it to be what you want. So, by the way, guys, just before we continue on to the next part of the badge, I thought I would let you know certain things appear centered on my page and margined, and that is because all I did was within the Google API.php file, I just made certain classes like on the paragraphs, and this might be something you want to do. You don't have to, but I linked it to a new CSS document here called Google API CSS, and I put it within my CSS folder. And all that's doing is I added some different classes and styles and sizes to each of these items, so they can either be centered or specifically different sizes and stuff like that. Another alternative, which I would not recommend, but for those of you who are not comfortable with doing external style sheets, you can, within your header, before the closing head tag, just like this, which I'm not going to do, but I'll show you, you can just write style, and within those two, the opening and style closing tags, you can put all of your correct CSS. and it should work fine. Again, I don't recommend doing that for future purposes, especially if you become a web developer, but it's fine for a simple page like this. Alright, see you in the next video. Thanks.